So you all know that President Trump calls himself the most pro-military president ever. You've heard the speeches. I love the military. I am pro-military. You will never find someone who cares about the military who's so pro-military than Donald Trump. Well, I was pretty curious to claim that when, as of so far, he has actually never visited a military base located in a combat zone. Now, of course, people have asked him why. Hey, why is that? You claim to be so pro-military, you claim to be for the troops, but you never seem to visit them when they're in a combat zone. That's weird. How come? How come? Now, some of his excuses range from, oh, I'm very busy at home. I have a lot of stuff to do at home. Great. Lots and lots of stuff, tremendous stuff. So I'm just too busy. Not only that, but he says that it isn't overly necessary. Well, sure, it may not be necessary, but you think it would be a morale boost. Hey, oh, look, the president came and visited us and basically thanked us for our work, right? Thanked us for what we're doing there, right? Being deployed. But he still refuses to do so. So I want to go back to the excuse where he's too busy, right? This is somebody who gets probably about 9 hours of executive time in which he watches Fox News and drinks Diet Coke and occasionally eats a cheeseburger from McDonald's. So, yeah, I will call bullshit on that ridiculous excuse. So now it comes up with more. According to the New York Times, they reported on a third excuse he's come up with. Trump aide told the Times that Trump does not believe American troops should be in Afghanistan or Iraq, and he fears a visit to the countries would, quote, validate the missions if he does not truly believe in. Now well, look, I don't believe American troops should be in Iraq and Afghanistan. I believe that they should also, that we should pull them out. Hey, do you know who has the power to do that? The President of the United States. Or at the very least, he can get, use the bully pulpit to take a strong anti-war position and try to convince Congress to pull those troops back. Or issue a declaration himself ending the occupations of both Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, if you're truly an anti-war president, well, that is something that you would do. You would end those occupations in Iraq and Afghanistan, get our troops out. I would be totally in favor of that, and I would give him credit if he were to do that. But of course, and here's the other thing on that. It would be incredibly popular. You would have both progressive left and libertarian right joining you on that effort, supporting you and saying, congratulations, Donald Trump. You actually did something great. You ended the endless wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. I would be 100% in favor of that, if only that were the truth. No, in reality, we found out the real reason President Trump refuses to visit the troops. According to the Washington Post, Trump has spoken privately about his fears over risks to his own life, according to a former senior White House official, who has discussed the issue with the president and spoke on the condition of anonymity to speak candidly about Trump's concerns. Quote, he's never been interested in going. He's afraid of those situations. He's afraid people want to kill him. He's afraid. Oh, if I go over there, people are going to come after me. People are going to... I got to stay away from the war zones. I got to stay away from the war zones. He's never been in a war zone in his entire life. So that explains it, right? He is afraid. He is a coward. Look, when he was basically going to get drafted into Vietnam, into the Vietnam War, he got Daddy to help him avoid serving. So he got deferments, of course, for education. And then when that ran out, he ended up getting a doctor to sign off on him having bone spurs in his foot. Which foot is it? Well, people asked him. He's like, I don't know. Could be this one. It could also be that one. It could be both. No, he's afraid. That's absolute bullshit. No, it's very unlikely that he has bone spurs in his feet. Okay? And I don't know, but that seems like a bullshit claim to me. In reality, of course, he doesn't want to go to war because he is so incredibly cowardly. He is so incredibly scared. And like a lot of these Chickenhawks, right? People that claim, oh, I'm so pro-military, I'm very pro-military, etc. Well, just like the rest of those guys, they're actually deeply, deeply afraid of their own for their own lives, of going to war zones. In fact, he also bragged, kind of like Ted Nugent, about not going to Vietnam. For example, he once called having sex in college his own personal Vietnam. Oh, I had to avoid VD. That's my personal Vietnam. Seriously? Seriously. Look, he is afraid. This guy is nothing more than an absolute coward. Now, if you want to compare him to somebody like Muhammad Ali, who actually did not go to war for his principles, right? He's like, I don't believe in fighting this war. This is a terrible war. And so, yes, I would rather not go and go to jail, go to prison to live out my actual beliefs. Well, then you could give him credit. But Donald Trump, he doesn't care about that. All he was doing is to protect his own ass. He wasn't taking a stand against a war. In fact, he's in favor of these wars. He was in favor of Iraq long before he was against it. So, as usual, Trump is a coward and is proving that every single day. He doesn't care about the troops. He never cared about the troops. And you know what? You know where he's spending his holiday? Mar-a-Lago with his rich friends. He's not anti-war. And if you think he's anti-war, you need your head examined. Because he doesn't give a shit about being anti-war. He doesn't give a shit about the troops. He's an absolute coward. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.